Good day, everybody. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be installing a Genesis off-road dual battery setup in my 2014 Jeep JK. This is the new Gen 3 model right here. It's got your negative and positive posts on the side. There's your switch controller, auto off and on. I already have a Gen 1 in my system, but I'm upgrading to this new model because I think it's going to be a lot better. I like the way the post is set up, and it's going to be a lot cleaner. I also got the G screen with it, which I can monitor the battery inside the cab, and I can also automatically set the boost feature from inside too. It comes with this little sticker, so if you don't have a G screen installed already, you're going to need that. That's the cable. So that's my Generation 1 Genesis off-road dual battery setup. It served me well. It's about 8 to 10 years old, and it's about time I swapped it out to something newer and something a lot cleaner. So in this process here, I'm just removing the old setup. It's going to be not really applicable to a lot of people because if you're doing this install, you're going to be buying the new, which means you're going to have to install the battery tray and everything else, which I already had that, so I just needed to buy the modules. So I'm just going through disconnecting everything because I had all my accessories attached to this. And in order to get the new one in, I have to remove everything, sort everything out, and then we can go about pulling this out and get ready for the new system, which I'm pretty excited about. It's going to make things look a lot cleaner. Like I said before, this thing's about 8 to 10 years old, served its time. It still works, but I want something new. Just removing the bolts. There's 4 bolts that hold that in place, and I got them all out. Everything's disconnected, and then very carefully lift it out. So that's the Gen 1, very open concept. This is the Gen 3. It's all enclosed, simplified, very clean looking, where that's kind of a rat's nest, but this is way nicer. Same thing, got your G screen plug-in on the side here. Everything's enclosed and covered. All my ports are right here. Don't have to connect up a whole bunch of extra wires. This is my battery connector here. So right now it's set for auto. If you want it off, you can leave it permanently off like that, or leave it permanently on and go like that. But I just gonna leave it in auto mode. Positive one side, negative on the other. You can see the differences. Gen 1, Genesis Gen 3, and I'll show you a picture of it once it's installed. So for your installation, you have to figure out where you want your screen. That was where my screen was originally put. So that's where I'm putting it back in, plugging the module in place, tucking her in. I got my cable. Just feed my cable through. There's a hole in the firewall from previously. I was able to do it. Make sure I got enough length. Go back to the other side. Plug that into the module. Tuck everything back in. There is the Genesis right there. I had to pop the wiring harness off there because the way mine's set up, it has to fit underneath that wiring harness, and I'm fitting it into place. Make sure the bolt holes will align and make sure it's not going to interfere with anything else. Fast forward for the B-roll people, using the original 4 bolts that I had, putting them in place, and then going to tighten it down because I'm happy where it's going to sit. This install is actually pretty easy. Nothing too serious. It does seem complicated if you're not very good when it comes to like wiring. So now I'm hooking up the positive cable. So that's the one from the Genesis coming out of the module, and putting that on the battery and putting that other wire back on. Put my nut back down and then tighten her up. Always hook up the positives first and the grounds last. Hooking up the other positive right there. Same thing, get it on, tap down the place, tighten it down. Plug in my G screen. Just got to hook up the grounds and they're going to be good to go. So I'm doing this one first and then putting it on. I always put rags down over top of the terminals so there's no spark show when I'm hooking her up. So just tighten down that one. That one there's the easy one. And then that's the main ground cable from the Jeep itself. Put that down on the terminal. Tighten it down. And then I just have to hook up the battery cable from the Genesis to that same connection. And there it is right there. That is the last ground from the Genesis. By the time you get your first ground put on, it'll already start to power up. So that's where you got to start to be careful. And you can see I already got all my accessories plugged in, but I didn't show that. That's my new dash I put into my JK. I need to get the stereo to match. But anyways, there's the G screen right there. You can see right there. Main battery 14.4 volts because I got the vehicle running. Auxiliary batteries 14.4. Auto is on. Genesis. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one.